Blech. VHS Beyond. This is the sixth or seventh VHS movie that they've done now. And it's weird. So there's the original trilogy, right? The first three VHS movies. And then I guess it got picked up or licensed or something by somebody else. And they had been churning out the last 4 years. We've gotten four brand. Yeah, right. So this is the seventh film. We've got four brand. And I don't remember. There's 94, 99, 85, and now VHS Beyond. And I say, never stop making them. I want one of these a year for the next 25 years. Just keep making them. You know, sometimes I get annoyed by the found footage aesthetic. I'm not really a big found footage guy, to be honest with you. I can get annoyed with the found footage aesthetic, but it's just fun. I love the way it resets. They always have a wraparound story. They always do chock full of stories too. There's always like 5 or 6 stories. They're very generous with the amount of stories. Most anthologies, like the classic anthology format, is always 3 stories in a wraparound. Sometimes you get 4. Rarely do you get 5. Never do you get 6. You know, 10 is too many. Like Tales from Halloween, that had 10 stories. That was too many stories. I think the sweet spot is 5 stories in a wraparound, maybe 4 stories in a wraparound. I don't know. It depends. If the stories are really good, because, you know, the more stories you have, the shorter the runtime typically. I just love them. I love them. I love them. The synopsis here: the infinite playground of forbidden worlds and dangerous life forms offered by the sci-fi horror genre will lead to the biggest, maddest, bloodiest VHS ever. I don't know if this is the bloodiest, maddest, biggest VHS movie yet, but it's a damn good one. I will say, I think, man, they just keep getting better and better. Although I think maybe last year's was really the pinnacle. Last year's had some that were just so freaking good, like really, really, really good. I'm gonna go bit by bit. I got the Wikipedia open so I can remember. So you have the frame. So the theme this year and everything, they kind of have a theme. The past years they've been doing time, right? Like you have VHS 94, you have VHS 85, and you have VHS 99. Sorry, wait a minute. 99, 94, 85. Right. Yeah. Am I missing one? I feel like I'm missing one. There was another year in there. What am I missing? I don't know. Let's not think about it at the moment. This was definitely the weakest wraparound for me. Sorry. I just was not into the wraparound at all. It just, I don't know. It was, it was like a talking head alien encounter. The theme here was aliens, but this is the weird thing. I thought when I saw the thing, VHS Beyond, I'm like, oh, it's going to be all aliens. And that kind of might've been boring if it had all been aliens. So I'm glad it wasn't. But that's the weird thing. They like kind of like the inconsistency of it. Some of them were aliens, some of them were not. And then it was interspersed by this sort of like talking head, ancient alien civilization, docu-style footage that really didn't amount. It amounted to some disturbing, what was on these VHS tapes. They got the guys from these special effects guys that have a YouTube channel. They had them in the movie, which I thought really added to a realism, because these guys are always like trying to analyze special effects. So it's kind of cool. Like they're trying to verify what these tapes are or whatever. I'm like not explaining what the plot is, just whatever. The first story is called Stork, and really strong entry. It kind of starts as like a zombie shoot 'em up bad guy type thing. Bunch of cops go into a house that, we got the body cam POV, and they're just shooting up. They're looking for missing babies. And one of the cops is the father of a missing baby. And basically there are a bunch of these people that are like living in this house, and their brains are hollowed out. Their heads are hollowed out. So something has eaten their brain, and it turns them into these like zombies, right? Basically. And some of them have chainsaws, and it turns into like a sort of like a shoot 'em up, a first person shoot 'em up, which we've seen before, like Hardcore Henry and stuff like that. Like that's like all like that shoot 'em up style, whatever. And obviously spoilers here. It's revealed that there's just like, I was like, what are we it's going to be something alien related. So I was expecting an alien, and it wasn't at all. It was a giant fucking bird. It was a weird alien monstrous bird. And it's kind of funny because like all the VHSs love doing this. Like they did this. Remember Ratma Like it's just like you're working towards, you're walking towards something monstrous. We don't know what it's going to be. Sometimes it's a rat man, and sometimes it's just a giant fucking bird doing what the brain alien does to Kelly Kapowski's boyfriend at the end of Starship Troopers, like eating his brains, eating this guy's brains, and then baby birding, like regurgitating the brains into the mouth of this baby. Really, really crazy opening segment. They kill the bird and they stomp on its head, and yeah, it's nuts. And then there's more. I'm not going to get into the interlude. The interlude is the interlude, and yada yada yada. The next story, this was cool. This was a story that takes place in Mumbai, and I'm guessing it was directed by somebody from Mumbai or somebody who's Indian in some way, shape, or form. And it's a Bollywood story about some paparazzis who are trying to get pictures of this Bollywood starlet. And as it turns out, she, the manager of the Bollywood starlet, has been sort of keeping this this thing. It's an android. It's like a machine that thinks it's a god, right? Or maybe what happens actually. The paparazzi who sneaks into the trailer convinces the AI that it's a god, and the thing rips off its face and just starts massacring people, right? Just like using like these weird electrical charges. It just gets really crazy, really, really crazy. You get acid spat on people's faces. Faces are being peeled off. It's just a lot of carnage. And again, like a lot of the VHS stories in general, they're really basic, simple premises. And I kind of feel like you need to do that when you have like shaky, kinetic, fast found footage, but they're effective and they work. And so, yeah, Dream Girl, that was a pretty good one. It really was. It was this entry was stacked. Then you have something called, I think this might be my personal favorite, Live and Let Dive. A bunch of guys, friends, guys and girls, are up in a skydiving airplane. They're skydiving for their friend's birthday, and right in the middle of their, they're filming it. Obviously, they're filming like this video for memories, and then they find themselves in the middle of a dogfight between UFOs and the army. And I'm trying to think in my head, I'm like, where is this going to go? Like, what is this, and where is it going to go? And initially I was like, oh my God, please let this plane like get like abducted by the UFO and then let them like have to fight off aliens on the ship. That was a missed opportunity. So like I said, I really love this one, but huge missed opportunity. VHS series has always done well with aliens. They had my friend Bob Rose, who I had mentioned earlier, he edited the alien segment for in VHS 2. Great. That was a great alien story. Kids vs. Aliens is a spin-off from that. That was a VHS movie. So I mean, they're really good when it comes to aliens. I was a little let down by the fact that the plane didn't get abducted, but instead we get this it was actually kind of really graphic. It was kind of harrowing. The plane like gets ripped in half and everybody falls when we're falling with them out of the sky. And we're with this one guy, and he's got like a GoPro on, and which totally works. I mean, totally feasible. His GoPro continues recording the whole time, and they fall in an orange orchard. Maybe like they're in Florida or something. His parachute barely opens up. The guy he's with, it gets his head. I mean, it's really grisly. But there's some realism to the skydiving that like kind of really. There was a part of me was like, this is not enjoyable. This is actually really like traumatic for a moment. And then we're in the orchard, and we see some of the cool, they're called grays, like those like your typical gray man alien, whatever. We see some grays, and they are terrifying. A design that you don't typically see. Their legs bend all weird. They have weird weapons. They're scanning people with this slit that comes out of their heads. They're mutilating these people with these like knives that come out of there. It's really, really, really crazy. And yeah, it was just, and then eventually he does get abducted. He gets into a truck and he does get abducted by the UFO. So it's good. That's good. I'm glad that they did follow through with that. I didn't need the orange orchard. I would have thought it would have been so much more interesting, or a complete, I mean, that could have been its own spin-off movie. And it would have been so interesting had the entire plane full of people suddenly find themselves on a UFO. And then like, it's a lot of talking, people turn on each other. Then eventually they have to go out into the ship. Maybe they like take over the ship. Maybe they crash land. I don't know. There's like a million ways you can go with it. In any case, it was a really good segment. Absolutely the highlight of the movie. Then we get Fur Babies, which is directed by Justin Long, the actor who does a lot of horror stuff. So it's kind of cool to see him behind the camera now. I mean, the guy's been doing genre stuff forever. So I'm all out. He was great in Tusk too. It's about there's a group, an animal rights activist group that is investigating a doggy daycare center run by this woman named Becky, who is just a crazy taxidermist and turns people into dog monsters. And it's really good. You don't know where it's going. It's really grisly, really, really grisly, really fun. I was like laughing out loud at the hilarity of it all. And just really, really fun. So utterly tongue in cheek. You know, their friends go miss. They're doing an investigative thing. They have investigative hidden cameras. They get in. Becky abducts them, turns them into dog. They're getting ready to turn them into dog people. Their friends, the friends in the activist group come. It really, to be honest, it almost felt like it almost could have been like a Tales from the Crypt episode, to be honest with you. And they do have that Tales from the Crypt taxidermy episode. I feel like there's not enough horror done with taxidermy. I had an idea. I had an idea that I wanted to do with taxidermy. And I realized that like in this day and age, there's some insensitivity around body deformity, not body deformity, wrong word. There's some sensitivity around some body stuff that I think would make it really like not okay to make, like as much as I would want to make it, it would be exploitative in a way. And after having some conversations with people, I just ultimately realized like it's a great story on paper. And I don't know, maybe I could turn it into a comic book or something. It's not something you could really shoot though. God, I would love to make that movie though. I would really like to make that movie. I digress. Then you have Stowaway. Oh, so I guess there was 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, there were 5. All right. Stowaway is the last story. It's another alien abduction. So there's 3 alien related stories and 4 if you count the stork, the weird bird alien, which I guess is kind of like an alien. This one was written by Mike Flanagan, who everybody is like obsessed with right now and basically has become the new disciple of Stephen King, right? And it's like, you know, this girl, she's out in the Mojave Desert. We're getting like we're reviewing her tape and we see in between, like she's taping over one of her birthday parties. And I don't know what the significance, I guess it's the idea of like a simpler time when things weren't so fucked up. And now here she is investigating UFOs. She finds her way onto she learns that something has been abducting animals, and she's really smart with math, and she does some light year math and figures out that whoever it is coming from the Andromeda galaxy, and it's a 28-year journey to get there. And talks about relativity, which is crazy. And that's cool. And like, you know, real trippy sort of math. She ends up on the ship and she ends up like, there's this nanotechnology that heals her. And because of the turbulence on the ship, she keeps getting injured. And every time she gets injured, the nano machines heal her, but they kind of like borrow DNA from all the animals that are on the ship. So she's like mutating with every time she bumps her head, she's like mutates, kind of, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Really trippy concept. A lot of creativity in these VHS movies. And I bet you there's like a book, right? There's like a book with just a 1,000 ideas. They should have me. They should hire me. I could give you 1,000,000 good fucking ideas for VHS movies. 1,000,000. So that's that's that. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars because, like I love this stuff, man. I really do. It's freaking great. Lots and lots of fun. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong.